Welcome back, everybody. My name is Dragagon, and this is Gregtech New Horizons. So, at the end of the last video, I talked about I was working on some machines, and then I decided, you know what, why don't I actually work on a little bit of the base? You can see right how I have marked what I call now the base center, and that's because I decided it really annoyed me that I had decided to make my original base like 12 by 12 across here. And so I decided, okay, rather than the center being in between four chunks, why don't we actually make it the center of an actual chunk and then build around that and then shorten up basically all of this by one chunk each. So you can see some lines that I've cut into my base as I've been working to shore that up. I'm not sure I'm going to stick with the design with these odd pillars on the outside edges, but I have decided that this is going to be my center chunk. I'm going to eventually move the power substation over here, which means I either need to use or lose the power that is stored within it, because moving the controller will basically erase all power that's in there. These two side pillars, they were back a little ways. I decided instead of having them be at like odd angles, I decided to stick them straight out from the sides, and those are going to be still my auto crafter setup. Building some of those assembling units. I forget exactly what they're called. These guys, molecular assemblers, that's what I'm thinking of. So these two things will be towers filled with molecular assemblers, putting the PSS there, a little bit of design and stuff around it to kind of give it the feel that it actually is powering the base. And then probably behind it is where I will eventually move my large heat exchanger along with two turbines for the steam. And then the last thing that I have done recently is to, I'm going to move my farms. Having the farms in the dead center of the base has become a huge annoyance when I'm trying to work out pollution producing machines and trying to keep them far enough away that they don't bother the plants. So I decided, why not move the plants over here? And I am just going to have this back wall. So the mega freezer I'm going to put over there. The mega EBF I'm going to put over here, and then between the two of them is going to be a pair of farms. They will probably still be multi-level. I've got a little bit of a design there so that I can see them from the rest of the base. And that way I can also make sure that I don't have weeds and stuff growing as I work on those things. So a little bit of reorganizing, a little bit of jumping there, a little bit of trying to figure out where I want things to go, recentering the base, digging out all of the lines for the rest of the base. It's been quite the project trying to get stuff organized properly. Again, still haven't decided. I may rip off these 3x3 corners. They are a bit annoying to have there. And I'll, again, Mega EBF, Mega Freezer eventually, two farms. I'm going to break down this one, and I'm going to start reduplicating plants and stuff to plant them over here and start getting them set up in a multi-layer farm structure, with some of them being things like more of the oil berries and whatnot. That will take some time, but I figure I can work on base design while I'm working to duplicate plants. But now on to the interesting bits that I have been working my way up to. As you can see, I have updated. The hollow inventory stuff is no longer just popping up. I haven't figured out how to turn that back on. They kind of disabled it, and it looks like they're going to re-enable the hollow glasses so that you can look at the stuff inside the inventory. I don't know. I kind of miss it already, but it's not so bad. But in any case, here I have the stuff to make a pair of IV machine casings. I also have the stuff to make 4 electric IV motors. 2 of those will go into making 2 pistons. And then let's see here. I have here this guy. I need to make these things first before I can do that. Nothing in there. And then I have this stuff in here. So let's go ahead and reorganize a little bit. And we've got those and those. So here I have, let's see, I need to do this. And that's going to be in my assembler with PTFE. Okay, so I need 4 PTFE along with those guys. So those and those go in there. Let's grab a little bit of PT polytetrafluoroethylene. Oh, we'll just take all 4 of those. There we go. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I can do that in here. I think I have to do that in the other one. Assembler. Oh no, it can be done in there. Okay, never mind. When you get up to the higher level stuff, you end up with having to put these things into the next level assembling machine in order to get them out, but not yet. Alright, so one of these 2 guys goes there, I believe, and then the other one is going to be used to make the other piece I need. So here's the industrial material press, and then for this guy, a platinum cable, some wires, my IV stuff. Okay. Do I have a platinum wire? I do have 1 platinum wire left. I then need my these guys, 4 of those. I will need both of those, I believe. I may not have all the stuff to make use of those guys yet. So yeah, I think those guys go here and there. Yeah, there it is. So there's my large HP steam turbine. I don't have the rest of the stuff for it. The idea being that this guy, as soon as I can make a buffered EV output hatch, and then I'm going to have to get 1 more EV input energy hatch for the EBF so that I can make the Aura Hurricane. And once I can make Oro Hurricane, I can build the turbines that I need for these guys, and that will get me up over 1 amp of IV. But yeah, it takes a little bit to get there. That will also involve me making a couple more Everburn urns, but at least I wanted to get the turbine ready so that I can make... so that I have it in my mind, I need to get this thing done so that I can increase my power generation. The other thing to do here is to slap these guys in, those guys there, those 2 there, and my wrench there. There's an advanced bending machine, and the advanced bending machine then goes into this, like so. And those like that. And there is our controller block for that industrial bending machine. This guy is going to be huge for replacing that bending machine there, as well as the 2 bending machines that are hiding down here. And I can automate those things using AE2. Set up a whole bunch of input buses and an output bus, and I can make as many plates and foil as I need to. That'll be especially handy now that I am working to automate the circuit boards, because waiting for 8 gold and 8 electrum and 8 copper foil all this time it'll be nice to not have to worry about waiting for that stuff anymore. So yeah, that is almost everything I had planned to do. The last thing is, and I believe this one I have to do over here. Let's go ahead and wrench that there, unwrench that there, and let's stick 8 of those in there. There we go. And I put in these and those. And so I've been waiting on making these guys right here. These are the field generator tier 2s. The quest requires you to make 4 of them. So there's 2. A little bit slow, not too bad. Whew, look at that eat power. 3. And here comes number 4. Again, because that's on an MV line, it really doesn't get a whole lot of power there. So there we go. Now with those field generator 2s done, it then unlocks, let's see here, I need any high capacity data orb. I think I have one of those there. So there's that. And then it wants me to make an MV advanced replicator. And this guy requires these tier 2 generators as well as several emitters. So I guess I'll be making those and some HV circuits in order to make this advanced replicator, and that thing along with the data orb are going to allow me to replicate the materials that I've already picked up right here, which are yttrium, boron, and indium. I will probably start with indium unless I decide that I want to make the borosilicate glass in order to work on the mega EBF. I need to see what all materials making this mega EBF is going to entail before I decide to embark on that by making the boron. Yttrium will be extremely necessary for some of the advanced alloys that I will need for making some more of these GT++ machines. But at least for right now, those are the three materials that I could use in order to simplify just gathering them naturally. All right, so a little bit of work ahead of me. I'm going to work on this advanced replicator. While I work towards the advanced replicator, I'm also probably, blood moon rising. I'm also probably going to continue to work on the base. I want to continue to build up the farm and then build my second farm out, and then I can start pulling the dirt that I'm not using and start filling this guy up while I work on replicating plants. And then from the plants, I can start filling these guys up and work more on the base again. So a lot of work ahead of me, pretty time-consuming stuff, so it may be a while again before I can get to more things, but I will bring you guys back in once some more progress is ready to be made. Alright, I went ahead and gathered up the parts necessary in order to make the 4 MV emitters, and then to put those 4 MV emitters to work inside of the advanced replicator. That should knock out that quest. All right, I don't think there's anything after it, though. No, there's nothing after it. So I should figure out what reward I want from each of these things. Loot bag, wafers, advanced circuits. Advanced circuits might be the better of that disaster. I don't know. Field generator, I get everything anyway, so we'll take that. And then on this one, do I want more advanced circuits, or probably not the ingots? It'd be the advanced circuits or the loot bag. I'll hold off on those decisions for a little bit here, but I can put this stuff away. There we go, and we'll throw those in there. As you can see from my inventory, I've gathered up some of the stuff in order to complete the first farm so that I can start transferring plants over while I work on the second farm. And over here, I decided that I would go with reservoirs now. One, I believe that completes another quest. Yeah, there it is. And then the other thing is that this way I don't have to worry about having pumps. I mean, yeah, I used 8 pumps just to make the stuff, but at least this way I can set this down under here, like on the back side here, something along these lines. I can go ahead and pop that one out, and I can put a valve here, and then this way I can take half of these guys and go like that, fill that, and fill that. There we go. And then I believe I just need to, I think I need a wrench for this. Can I? Nope, not like that. Let's see here. Maybe it's just right click with a wrench. Yeah. And it'll auto output. So I can go ahead and put my farm valve right there, and it'll try and fill it with water. Yeah, that's good. And then as I build this thing up, it'll keep that thing full. So that will work out nicely for that. Let's see here. I will also need to put on 2 hatches. No, 3 hatches. If I go ahead and do all 3 of those... Why do I only have 2 hatches? I thought I kept 3 in my inventory. I don't necessarily need it that way, but the idea is that if I have 2 or 3 hatches, I can stick some Ender IO conduits onto those things, and then I can... I don't have to worry about the output into AE2. So it'll probably be an interface, an Ender IO output, and then a one of those export buses here to export out fertilizer so that this thing stays fertilized. And then put in power. I'm not sure how I'm going to do power just yet all the way down here, but at least this will get us set up with this farm. And then I can focus on the rest of getting the plants duplicated and get them set up and arranged over here. And I of course screwed that up. Oh, go figure. Produced exactly as many as I needed. All right, so there is the farm. You can see it's full of water now. I will have to get another socket, and with the 4 bulbs in order to make it the orchard, and then I can start getting this guy up and running. You can already see that up here I've already got a few of the spots. Now I got all the spots so far marked off. I just need something to block it off so that the water doesn't run down, and then I can make all of that into farmland and convert that whole thing into a nice farm. So I guess the next thing for me to do is to figure out how I want to set up this advanced replicator, and then get a fluid extractor next to it and start extracting. I've got a little bit of space plants now, so that I can start producing stuff. I also have I've got a fair amount of UUA berries, which I probably won't touch, and then UUM berries for actually getting some more of that. So I am going to run off. The base is going to get updated slowly as I start moving stuff around and getting that bottom level set up. I am going to be adding a subfloor underneath this floor. I hadn't considered it in my original design, so I'm going to need to set up a subfloor to run pipes and wires and whatnot all over the place as we get things rearranged to better handle our stuff. I did decide that I need the mega freezer in between both of my farms because realistically the mega EBF produces a ton of pollution, and I don't want pollution next to my farm. As I was already talking about with the trouble with having it here in the middle. So it'll just be the mega freezer here between the 2 farms, and I'll probably run some pipes and hide some stuff under there, but at least it'll give me a nice big area that I can hide some automation down there. Maybe do some stuff like setting up autoclaving with some of these materials in order to start gathering up some of the purified ores, things along those lines. So I'm going to keep working away at this thing. The base is slowly going to evolve while I get stuff ready. The next steps, again, are to try and knock out the rest of these things on the AE2 circuits. Once I have those things done, I also want to get at least a couple more EBFs for now up and running so that I can run like one for nitrogen, one for oxygen, one for hydrogen, or maybe helium or something, and just start setting up a little bit of automation with EBFs so that I can just ask the auto crafting system to make certain ingots as long as I've got power. That's the other thing, is to reset up my my adapter and screens and whatnot so that I know how much power I do have, which I can do to the front of the PSS. And then lastly, I can also start working on using up some of this helium that I have right here in order to make the what are those things called? The superconducting wires, so that I can run power around right now at EV level, later on at higher voltages, but at least I can get some stuff started to draw power from the PSS and then have a constant power setup. So back to work. I'll see you guys in a bit. Well, it's been, almost a month, maybe. Not quite. I'm a week away from a month since the last time I recorded. Few things have changed, not a whole lot. If we come up here, I can show you guys. I rearranged this area here so that I could have my world accelerator to try and accelerate how quickly I get my seeds for my plants. And then down under here, whoops, I have my high voltage fluid tank, some turbo combustion engines, and those things provide power to that ridiculous disaster. I've been burning through my diesel fuel. Unfortunately, because my oil berries are all pulled up, which I'll show you in a minute, I haven't been able to produce any more diesel fuel. So I'm down to like 900 buckets. That I've been trying to slowly get stuff done. You can see I've ripped up all but the bottom floor of my top floor of the farm. And if we come down here, you guys can see I also ripped up all the plants down here, and I'm currently trying to duplicate magic metal berry, gold, and red wheat. And that's because I've been filling out all the plants that are down in here. You can see now I've got walls up so that it actually provides dark. I've been putting torches down to keep mobs from spawning, and if we drop down here, that one's empty still, but this guy right here, you can see that I've started filling out all the stuff for it. Right back there are my magic metal berries. The idea is that I'm going to have a row of ones that produce thaumium. I'm going to have a row of ones that produce thaumonite. And then when I get the research for it and can do it, I'm going to have a row of ones for void metal. I then have a fourth row that I will either do like iron or the gold ore berries. The red wheat I'm going to put here between the pillars since it doesn't require ores, and it's more than what I've had before. I think there's like 31 slots for red wheat, and I was doing just fine with 25 before, so having that set up will be nice. And then I've got another one for either, if iron's over here, gold will be over here. And then I'm going to stick a couple of night metal down somewhere. These things, so I've got these glowstone covers up here which are providing a little bit of light, but when you're all the way back here, you can see up in the top left that the light level at my feet is 2. Red wheat needs at least a level of 5. It wants between 5 and 10, oddly enough. So I'm going to be planting them here where they will go anywhere between, you can see, 6 and 9. So it'll be perfect for them there. The light that they give off and the light that these guys give off won't affect the metal berries as they're growing. And then a lot of the rest of this will probably be taken up by tier stocks, just to get the number of tier stocks that I had back up. From there, I then have this second floor, and the second floor, you can see I'm about maybe halfway done with it, maybe not quite halfway done with it, but this one will hold all of the metal plants. The idea being that I will dedicate 2 rows to metal plants. So with this being 19 wide, the longest one is 36, the shortest one is -3, so that's... sorry, it's 19, so that's 38. The shortest one being 35, because either way it'll have one on one side or the other using 3 spots for water. So 35 to 39 plants each way. And that's where all the metal plants will go. I had 25 of each of them, so increasing them to 36 won't take too long. I just need to dig up more of the dirt from that farm and get it done. In any case, that's the majority of the farm work that is done. The next thing that I am actually planning on doing, I went into Twilight Forest. So this is an interesting story. I went into the Twilight Forest to get the infused ores, and I got a bunch of the infused ores. There you can see the one Terra, what was it, Terra Aqua, I think it is, it had most of the top chopped off of it, so I did not have the Terra, didn't get much Terra, but that's all right. I don't need a whole lot of Terra uh, shards for the clusters. But when I came back, let me get up here in the daylight. I guess I could just toggle the dumb thing, but so what happened was my Twilight Forest portal is right here next to my Nether portal. They're still all the way over at the old base. And what happened was I popped out of the Twilight Forest, immediately put on my copter pack, and started flying this way. And the world hadn't loaded. And when I landed all the way on the base, I landed right down there. Almost everything that was a GT machine had that invalid texture, like it was still loading, or an invalid ID, like it was still loading. I couldn't place down my compressed chest, and I started freaking out, thinking I had corrupted something. So I was trying to back stuff up, was trying to figure out, okay, what all can I keep in case I just corrupted part of my world. And then I shut down and restarted. And when I restarted, everything came back up fine with the exception of one thing. That one thing was, so if I open my Thaumonomicon, thankfully all of my research here in the Thaumonomicon stayed. That thing wasn't a problem. What was a problem was that my warp and my all of my Essentia stuff reset. So right now, if I were to pull out a litmus paper, I would only have the very minimum of warp, simply because I researched, what was it? Is it over here? Yes, I researched this guy, the Oblivion Jar. I'm not sure why those things are showing up with the names all screwed up. I've got to figure that out, but that's less of an issue than the fact that I just got free warp removal. I would not recommend it. It was definitely scary having a compressed chest and thinking I lost all of my data. But anyway, I got most of my research, or I had all my research back. I went and I was scanning everything in my ME2 system, or AE2 system, which is ridiculous because you got to pull it out first and then scan it. And then I went into the Nether because I needed this stuff right here, Nether Quartz. I went ahead and picked up a Certus Quartz and a Nether Quartz vein while I was down there so that I would have plenty of stuff. And that's all so that I can work on the next thing, which is going to be more Thaumcraft stuff. I have that node I've been slowly feeding and I've been putting off doing anything with. Let's fly over there real quick. Yeah, my super node right here that I've been feeding. And if we notice, I got above the 64, which is, 8 squared for this node. I would love for it to get all the way to 100, but I'm not seeing that happen anytime soon. Plus, I'm going to go after bees to try and deal with this guy, with a new node once I am ready for it. But having it at 8 centivis is going to be plenty for the stuff that I need. And the idea is that I'm going to get this node transducer set up, and then I have, right here are these P2P tunnels. I'm going to make a Viz relay interface so that I can put the CentiViz into my ME system, and then with the ME system I can then use my arcane crafting terminal, which hides on the backside of my little setup here, in order to be able to do magic crafting. So that is the next stuff on my list. I'm going to keep working on the farm slowly. I got all of my utility plants done. What you saw over there are all of my utility plants, which means that I don't have to worry about what is it, stuff like the dyes, stuff like paper, leather, the stuff I don't use as much. Originally I only had one of each of those plants sitting at the corners of my farm. These guys are now all up at 4 plants each, so I just 36 times 3 is how many plants I just duplicated, or seeds I just duplicated, using that setup up here where I would wait for the ones in the corner to grow, and then I would do other stuff. So still working on Fertilia. That'll probably be on that bottom row also, along with those ore plants and whatnot. The Fertilia will go towards making the fertilizer, and then I'm going to start collecting more of this dirt up to try and build. I'm not sure yet. I like the idea of a third level of the farm. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I may start my second farm once I break this guy down, and then that way I can start getting space plants, oil berries, transformium, and what's the other one? Space plants, oil berries, transformium. There's a fourth plant that I was looking at having a whole bunch of. Anyway, the idea being that those guys will then feed into a UUM system that I can then duplicate crops and, duplicate the different elements and things, and then all of that fun mess that is that. So those are the things that have been going on over the last month. I have been playing. It's been slow. Duplicating the crops. I duplicate 1 or 2 plants and then end up getting bored and going to play another game. But I focused down and finally knocked out all the rest of them. So I'm going to check the time on this video. Likely I am close to being done. And in the next video, I'm going to be working on getting everything I need set up, running the AE2 wires down and over to the farm so that it can import into the ME system, and then from there I'm going to just be working on the Thaumcraft bits so that I can craft straight from Thaumcraft. So look forward to seeing you guys. I'll let you know whether we're having more or not. See you in a bit. Alright, I pretty much ran out of time, but I figured I would show this off. What I've done is I ran an ME2 cable along one of my subfloors that the subfloor doesn't actually exist. This will get changed over time, but at least for right now, it runs the line that comes all the way over and comes to this small contraption here. Like I learned before, it's best if we have at least 2 hatches so that I can get one of the hatches, a little bit of lag there, at least 2 hatches, so I can get one of the 2 hatches to extract items and put it into the interface, and these hatches also put immediately down into the inventory below them, so it will also export straight into the interface, which then runs and feeds my ME2 system. I then have an export bus here with fertilizer to keep the fertilizer full, and then due to how P2P tunnels work and everything, what I did was I've got a P2P tunnel, and I've got a second one way over by my way over there by one of my small sets of transformers that transform down from the EV line into LV power. It feeds one of my other things. I think it feeds part of the helium, the liquid air setup that I created. And the reason for that is because I don't have a good place otherwise for it to go. I was trying to get it right here where my current LV machines are all set up, but I don't have enough channels with the way that small thing is configured. So yeah, I haven't done anything with that. So it's coming in with 4 amps of LV power, so I put in a small battery buffer with a single battery, and then that thing is providing this guy with enough power in order to run everything that it needs and keep the battery at full charge. I will probably do and use the exact same P2P tunnel with another battery buffer over on that farm once I get it set up, and then of course I've got the 2 reservoirs there so that it doesn't so that it keeps itself full at all times. But this guy appears to be up and running. If we hop up here, we'll probably see that yes indeed, a lot of the, well, all of the stuff has been harvested, so that's good. That means I am filling up stuff. Now, unfortunately, it's not good because I do need to get my fertilizer up and running. I need to put the fertilizer somewhere in here as well. That's the one thing I did forget that I want to do. It may live right here in this thing, and I'll probably make it a little bit bigger than I did before, simply because I'm going to be running 2 sets of farms, and while they may be the same number of plots, it may be more, and I just want to make sure that I've got more than enough fertilizer so that I don't run out and end up with a system failing because it can't grow any more fertilizer and it can't harvest, and if it can't harvest, it can't get more fertilizer. Yeah, it's just a bad day all around if that happens. So I'm going to call this video here. In the meantime, I am going to get my Fertilia plants planted in here. I'm also going to be working to get more thaumium so that I can plant more of those ores while I work on the red wheat and then the iron and gold ore berries, so that I actually get a source of iron and gold other than, so that I don't have to work it through well, waiting on gold from the LHE and not having any sources of iron right now. So I'm going to work on that stuff. I will see you guys in the next video where we'll be doing a little bit of Thaumcraft. So till then.